Welcome everyone, my name is Bjorn and today we're going to talk about what is long COVID. But before we do that, I wanted to show a video that I often start with that shows a lot of people that have gone through this same treatment that works for long COVID as well. Okay, so this is JK, age 16. She had a car accident while on holiday with her family and she left her. You can see the eyes cannot focus properly. And this is a traumatic brain injury and it's the same issues in the brain that need to be rewired back to normal. Okay, you see his eyes, she can't focus properly, and after just 6 weeks of treatment they restored the brain function, and she's back to living normal life, which is amazing. Then this is Madeline. She's 4 years old and she had 100 seizures every single day, very, very serious. And they rewired her brain after 1 week. The seizure rate dropped by 90%, which is incredible. And you can see her how she's developing right there, and that's just after a week. Okay, so this works with long COVID. It works with so many different issues, that neurological issues. This is RH, age 12. He wasn't able to walk after a mild concussion, and doctors were saying that he was trying to get attention. Okay, it's just unbelievable. Anyways, after a few, I think 6 months of treatment, he's now able to walk by himself. And you can see he's progressing. So after 9 months of care, he's now back to living a normal teenage life. So these things work. This treatment goes directly on the brain and it works. And so many people with serious issues, like Sam, age 18, had a severe neck injury while on the beach, left him quadriplegic. Very, very serious. Less than 1% chance of having any movement in his body. But just after 6 weeks of treatment, he's moving his left foot like that, which is amazing. And I'm telling you, this is a miracle, okay? After 12 months, he's walking aided. And after a little over 12 months, he's able to walk by himself again, dancing his way to recovery. And I think this next video will show a video clip. Yep, finally after all odds, Sam walks unaided. I don't know exactly how many months this was after, over a year at least. This story of Ben, problem child turned award winner, labeled as ADHD, dyslexia. Everyone's saying he's got a problem child, like in the class. But they rewired his brain, and then I don't have these symptoms anymore. I'm telling you, it is incredible. Sensory confusion, what they're able to do now by rewiring the brain. And it is the same thing with long COVID. Long COVID, what is long COVID? Well, long COVID refers to the ongoing symptoms that last weeks or months after recovering from the initial COVID-19. Even mild cases can lead to lasting effects, especially on the brain and nervous system. Standard tests often come back normal, leaving people frustrated, confused, and dismissed. So even mild cases, okay, small inflammation in the brain, which is usually what it is, creates, like, the brain starts misfiring. And the longer it stays like that, let's say the swelling is there for a while, the brain thinks that is normal. And that's not a good thing. And that's why we have all these strange and debilitating symptoms. So long COVID affects multiple systems, but many symptoms are neurological. Brain fog and memory issues, head pressure, migraines, dizziness, fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, light and sound sensitivity, I had that, burning sensations and tingling, numbness, anxiety, depression, emotional instability, shortness of breath, even rest, heart palpitations, pot-like sentiments, okay? Many are told it's just stress, but their brain is struggling to function normally, to get back to where it's supposed to, designed to function, okay? So if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're experiencing maybe some of this, hopefully none of it, but it's just awful what people go through. They go to doctors have no idea what to do, take some medication, just blah, 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 nothing we can do for you. But I'm telling you, there is something you can do. A nervous system that is stuck in survival mode is what has happened. Now, long COVID can dysregulate the autonomic nervous system, affecting how the brain manages energy, stress, and focus. Most treatments only manage symptoms, but don't address the underlying brain dysfunction. Brain rewiring tools like TDCS and neurostimulation can help regulate the nervous system, restore energy, and improve clarity. The brain can bounce back with the right support. So I showed this already. And all this information you can find on bjornbrain.com. Everything I'm talking about right now, it's all on my website. Videos, all kinds of, everything is there. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. All I share is from a patient point of view. So talk to a doctor about this. The video I just showed you was from Institute of Functional Neuroscience. Dr. Randy Beck is the founder of that, and he's the best in the world at this type of treatment. All the hardest cases in the entire world, they all send it to Dr. Beck because they know he's the best, because he's been doing this the longest. Home treatment is available over video call. You can sit at home in the comfort of your home and be treated. Only thing you need to do is to get a brain scan, which is done in a neurofeedback clinic that you can go anywhere and do. This results, they send to Dr. Beck. He does the goes through his proprietary software to be able to analyze it and to be able to put a treatment plan. I'm telling you, he is considered the best in the world. He writes the manuals, the textbooks for this type of treatment. Use promo code Bjorn to get a discount. Helps me out as well to continue my mission of telling everyone about this. This is the state I was in. Terrible state. I don't want to go through all the symptoms. It was bad. Neck injury, head injury. It was awful. The brain was pressing on my. Okay, so let me just explain like this. My brain got stuck in panic mode because of a neck injury, head injury. Bacterial infection didn't help either. Create inflammation in the brain, which is similar to long COVID. But what happens is that, like I said earlier, when the brain stays like that for a long time, it becomes chronic. Like, for example, let's say my shoulder's like this, right? I walk around like this for a long time. A week, 2 weeks, 6 months, a year. Now the brain thinks this is the normal position of the shoulder, but it's not. So you got to retrain the brain. This is normal, not this. This is normal, not this. And it takes a while to do that. Physical therapy with that can help. But when it's the brain, you got to do a scan of the brain to figure out what is going on in the brain and then nudge it back to normal. Neurofeedback did not work for me and doesn't work for many people. Some people have luck with that, but it doesn't work for me. So you got to go in there and use small amounts of electricity and laser to restore that function. And it is possible to do that. So symptoms that people go through for this type of treatment, okay? Depression, fear, anxiety, addiction, any phobia, dyslexia, stress, panic attacks, like I had, migraines, irritability, fatigue, sleep difficulties. I'm telling you, epileptic seizures, so many people are getting well from this type of treatments, but they don't treat the symptoms, they teach your brain. I'll show you how they do that. Another thing with the vagus nerve, like I said, it was pressing on my brainstem. So I went to the doctor and they said, okay, my stomach was so bloated, I couldn't even walk. It was like I was just hunched over. And they said, here's antacids. So they try to treat the symptoms, the stomach, but the root issue was in the neck because the vagus nerve was pinched. It's one of the first cranial nerves that get pinched when you have a neck injury. And neck issue like I had. And it creates heart rate, digestion, breathing, voice, inflammatory response, mood, anxiety, immune function, all these issues to the stomach and the whole body it affects. But the doctors don't know that the root is there. And it's very, very key. You got to find a doctor who knows how to find the root of the issue. Lyme disease, you can read about that. Similar to Lyme coma, in the sense it creates inflammation in the brain. So I tried all these different therapies. Okay? I've tried everything. The heat of my body to 42.6 degrees, light laser therapy, hyperbaric chamber, hypnosis, meditation, TMS, lens. Tried everything, okay? Everything. And nothing worked. But now you can see I'm not 100%, but I'm way better than what I was, okay? So this is the types of hacks that they also use. Okay, brain hack, decades-old brain hacks that Dr. Beck learned at the Carrick Institute, where he worked for 10 years. He was a professor there. So look at this, okay? This is technology. This is not using cutting-edge technology. This is like old-school brain hacks that are amazing. This kid had a head injury. He had light sensitivity and couldn't move his left arm after a head injury. So what they did, they put a mirror, and then they have him lift his right arm while looking into the mirror. So the brain thinks that he's now lifting his left arm, but he's not. Oops, it's the right arm. But his brain, instead, they're creating those neural pathways where the brain's like, oh, I can lift my left arm. So these type of brain, exercises combined with new cutting edge technologies is why this treatment by Dr. Beck is so powerful. The Carrick Institute didn't use these treatments, so use these treatments, but then Dr. Beck got into TDCS, transcranial direct current stimulation, which I'll talk about more now, and he got into doing EEG brain scans. So the combination of that makes this so powerful. So this is a QEEG brain map. You can see the different colors to do a brain scan, and they can see this is too fast, too slow. This part is not talking to this part. Everything in your brain is screaming, and there's so much noise in your brain. But once you restore that function, the brain normalizes, and the symptoms then go away. I'm telling you, it is incredible. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you like how it works. Sometimes I know more than the average person about it, but I'm not an expert at it. But Dr. Beck is the best in the world, and that's why the people go to him just to analyze the brain map, because they're like, hey, we don't know what's going on here, because he is considered the best. Again, this is Dr. Randy Beck. He's in Australia, but you can get treated at home over video. And if it wasn't for that, it's tough. Nobody can afford to go to Australia for 6 months or a year. I spent 3 months in California getting treated there, a different place. Spent so much money on hotels. Germany for weeks, Canada for weeks. Like, you just can't afford it. But the home treatment it's amazing. I'm telling you, the amount of money you'll save is just remarkable. All right, Dr. Beck combines TDCS with multiple therapies. Now, all this is basically neuroplasticity. Okay, so he combines all these treatments to get the brain to go back to its normal state, and because it's plastic. So neuroplasticity is the brain's incredible ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections as it changes in response to stimuli. Its ability to adapt to the environment. So what happened again, right? Your brain has been adapted, but if you had a shoulder issue, this is the new normal. Your brain is adapted to this. If you go like this for a long time, so now you got to change it back, and it's plastic. It's called neuroplasticity. We can change the brain to believe that now, okay, this is normal, and the brain, but it needs help. So you got to nudge it back by pushing the shoulder down. Same thing with the brain. If it's not talking correctly or functioning correctly, you need to nudge it. And that's what they use as electricity. And I'll show you what that looks like. TDCS is an emerging neuromodulation technique that provides a safe, low-cost, and non-invasive means of modulating your brain. They're not opening up your brain, putting a chip in there, okay? They're not doing that. That is very serious stuff. They're not shock therapy. Small amounts of electricity that go through the brain. This has been used for decades as well. It's not like something Dr. Beck came up with. So DARPA military uses this technology to train their drone operators and their snipers. So this lady, science writer, she became a sharpshooter expert with a device on her head delivering electrical currents. AD went from a frustrated shooter to a skilled sniper. This is what the military uses, okay? But Dr. Beck doesn't use it on soldiers. He uses it on people with issues like me, people with long COVID, people with very serious neurological issues. This is what the machine looks like. You just put it on your head. You have it shipped at home. They tell you exactly where to put it. It's easy. Painless, non-invasive. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Small amount, like 1 or 2 milliamp. You can also use it on the spine. Like the guy who was quadriplegic, they use it on the spine to restore the function of his brain. The connection from his head to his body goes through the neck. So if you mess up the signal here, then it's going to be messed up here. So you restore it here, then you restore the brain function. I'm telling you, this is amazing. This is somebody with ADHD, and you see it's all blue. And because of that, on the right-hand side, high beta blue, like the markers for ADHD are very clear. Most people are like doctors that know this stuff, they look at it and they're like, okay, most likely this person has ADHD because of these things, okay? So they can tell all these things. Like, it's amazing, the technology that's been developed. Go to bjornbrain.com, lots of information there. Videos, I have articles, case studies, lots of case studies of people who've had infections, who've had issues to the brain, and then they just rewire it, go back to normal. And once they do that, you see a massive, massive change in people's lives. But give Dr. Beck a call, set up a call with these clinicians, and then they can walk you through and explain long COVID, how it works. And what happens is that the brain just got stuck in a pattern that's not normal, creating weird, unusual neurological symptoms. It's different for everybody because the brain is different areas wherever that infection was, and the different areas of the brain. So Dr. Beck doesn't treat your symptoms. He just says, okay, you have a brain that looks like this. And then they compare your brain to hundreds of thousands of other scans of people who do not have your symptoms. And they look at it and be like, okay, I'm going to tweak your brain to bring it to become more like the people who don't have your symptoms. And all they do is watch to see what happens to your symptoms. And usually they go away like they did with me. I'm telling you, it's all they do. They treat the brain, and they, of course, they combine it with these exercises that you do, but they treat the brain, and then you see how the body balances, the brain balances out, which balances and normalizes the body's function. It's amazing. I'm telling you, what's been developed now will blow your mind. There's other stuff that's even more incredible that's coming too. So anyways, I want to share this. Long COVID can be restored. It's a brain issue. Okay, it's a brain issue, and it can be restored. It can be resolved by rewiring the brain back to its normal state. Okay? All right, if you got any questions, let me know. Contact Dr. Beck, set up a call with these clinicians, do a brain scan. I'm telling you, there is hope. If you're going through this and you're having a rough time, I believe, like what they told me, somebody told me many, many years ago, they said, you know what? I believe this will be a long and distant memory one day. And it's starting to become that. And I believe the same thing for you, okay? Hang in there, get a scan, see what's going on, and then go from there, okay? This is what happens with me. They scan, they're like, yeah, of course you're having these symptoms. Look at these patterns. Your brain's asleep in some areas. Your brain is spinning too fast in other areas. I mean, all right, cool. If you got any questions, let me know. Take care. Bye-bye.